You're fighting, you're defending yourself, you're standing your ground. So how could that be a loss? Because, according to Nietzsche, the very moment you enter a battle to prove yourself, you've already surrendered your power. Nietzsche believed that true strength doesn't come from being right, but from something far more unexpected. So what is this hidden power? And how does silence, when used at the right moment, become more powerful than any words? Let's dive into Nietzsche's philosophy and uncover this silent weapon that gives you real power. Imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a heated argument. Your heart's pounding. Every word feels like a weapon. Every sentence, a battle. You carefully craft your next response determined to prove you're right, but the other person, they're doing the exact same thing. Neither of you is really listening. You're both just waiting for your turn to strike. Then someone steps in, calm, quiet. He doesn't take sides. He doesn't offer advice. He leans in and whispers something unsettling. You've already lost. What does he mean? You're fighting. You're defending yourself. You're standing your ground. How could that be a loss? Because, according to Nietzsche, the very moment you enter a battle to prove yourself, you've surrendered your power. He believed that true strength doesn't come from arguing to be right, but from something far more unexpected. So what is this hidden power, and why does silence, when used right, speak louder than any word? Let's dive into Nietzsche's philosophy and uncover the silent trick that gives you real power. Most people think arguments are about truth, but Nietzsche believed most arguments are actually about something else. Ego protection. We argue because being wrong feels like losing a piece of ourselves. The ego fights to survive. Power struggles. It's not about who's right, it's about who dominates, who speaks last, who controls the tone. Social validation. Many don't argue to be correct. They argue to look smart in front of others. To Nietzsche, these weren't signs of strength. They were signs of weakness. Because the moment you let someone provoke you, they control you. Nietzsche's concept of the will to power is often misunderstood. It's not about physical dominance. It's about self-mastery. Power isn't loud. It isn't reactive. It's strategic restraint. It's choosing when to speak, and more importantly, when not to. Enter the Übermensch, Nietzsche's ideal individual. The Übermensch doesn't argue to win. He doesn't seek validation. He controls the battlefield before the first word is spoken. Let's look at three figures who embodied this idea. Socrates, the master of questions. He didn't argue, he asked. By asking the right questions, he led people to expose their own contradictions. He never had to say, "You're wrong." People discovered it themselves. Steve Jobs, the architect of influence. Jobs didn't fight over every decision. He saved his energy for what mattered. In one famous case, he convinced his team to abandon physical buttons on the iPhone, not by force, but by guiding them to see the future he envisioned. Miyamoto Musashi, the silent samurai. He showed up late to his duels on purpose. Why? To unsettle his opponents. He won battles before drawing his sword, because he controlled the emotional tone of the fight. Silence is not the absence of power, it's its most potent form. It makes others uncomfortable. It reveals more about them than about you. It builds tension, and tension creates influence. Used well, silence makes people lean in, question themselves, and second-guess their beliefs. The person who stays calm, unbothered, and observant, they hold the real power, not the loudest voice in the room. Modern psychology backs Nietzsche's ideas. Confirmation bias. We only seek what proves us right. Backfire effect. Being challenged makes us double down, not reflect. Dunning-Kruger effect. The less we know, the more confident we are. Add emotional triggers and ego, and you realize arguments rarely change minds. They just reveal who's in control of their emotions and who isn't. Nietzsche didn't say, never speak. He said, choose when it matters. Speak when the argument sharpens your thinking, when it pushes growth, when it shifts power toward your vision. Stay silent when it's just ego versus ego, when the other person won't listen, when your calm presence speaks louder than any rebuttal. Mastering conflict doesn't mean avoiding it. It means using it strategically. Imagine this. You only have 100 words left in your life. Would you waste them proving yourself to someone who isn't even listening? Or would you choose them like a warrior sharpening his final blade? True power, Nietzsche believed, is not in endless words. It's in the silence before the words, the pause that holds the room, the calm that shapes reality. Want more insights on philosophy, psychology, and power? Subscribe and hit the bell icon. Stay sharp, stay powerful.